Hey, what's up everyone? My name is William and today we're going to be going over the different automation modes in Logic Pro. So first of all, I've just opened up a new session here and I've made an instrument track which I've put an EXS24 on and I'm using the Steinway Grand Piano 2 preset. You can just click on the presets, go down to Factory, Acoustic Pianos, and go down to Steinway Grand Piano 2 in order to use the same preset as me. The next thing I've done is I've put some MIDI here, just something so we can work with if we want to dive into these automation modes a little bit more. But starting off, we can view the automation of our tracks by either going up to click this Show Hide Automation button, or we can simply click the A button on our key. We can press down the A button. And then next thing you know, it expands our tracks and it shows it's grayed out right now, but that's because we don't have automation. But we see an automation line where something could be automated right here. And right now we're looking at our volume automation because this is the parameter that we're looking at. So going on to automation modes, if we have this Show Hide Automation on and we see the automation here, we can change our automation mode from right here. Actually, we can change it from right on our track, or if we don't have this automation mode visible, we can also go down here to change our different automation modes as well. So that's one thing to keep in mind. There's two places for you that you can go to change the automation mode on your track. Going over the different modes real quick, read mode, it will read all the automation that's on the track. It's not going to be writing anything. It's not going to change the automation when you're on read mode. If you're in touch mode, though, when you move a control or change it, it's going to change the value. It's going to automate the track. And when you release the control, it's going to revert to the original value. So a quick example of that is if I played this here, let me just show you real quick, and I'm going to use the volume to automate, so I'm going to adjust the volume fader as it's playing. So since we're in touch mode, I'm just going to click play, and then I'm going to adjust this volume fader, and you'll be watching it automate up here. You'll see the automation be drawn in. And then you can see, since we are in touch mode, as soon as I let go of this volume fader and stopped changing it, it immediately went back up to 0 because that was our value before we started modifying it. And then you can see it drew in all these little points here in order to do that. So that's just a quick look at what touch mode automation is. I'm going to erase that real quick. I just highlighted all of them and then pressed my delete key or backspace. Going on to the next mode, we have latch, which latch mode, it works pretty much the same as touch mode. However, when we release the parameter, it's not going to revert to the original value. So let me just show you a quick example of what that means. We're again going to just adjust the volume fader so we can see. Again, our starting value is at 0 dB. Nothing's changed. And I'm just going to play it and then start adjusting this, and you'll be seeing what happens. Now, as you can see, when I let go of the automation, unlike the touch mode where, as soon as I let go of the volume fader in touch mode, it shot the value back up to 0 dB. Whereas here, I let go of it right here, and then we had it stay at, what was that, negative 11.2 dB. It stayed at negative 11.2 dB, and I thought that was a little quiet, so I turned it up a little bit, and then it stopped and stayed at negative 2.9 dB. So that's just something to keep in mind. Latch mode, it's not going to revert back to the original value we had, which was 0 dB. It's going to stay at whatever we let it go at. Moving on to the next mode, we have this write automation mode, which it erases all the existing automation on the track as the playhead passes over it, and it records the new controller, new movement. So actually, let me write this latch automation in again real quick. Okay, so that's good enough. I could have just undid what I had before to bring it back, but I decided to just record some new automation in here. So switching it to write mode, as we see, I'm going to press play, and it's going to be erasing all the automation we have. It's not going to be, going with it. And then as I change it, it'll change. So let's just see what happens when we do this. So as you can see, it overwrit, it wrote over all of the automation we previously had when we were in write mode. So now, the last two automation modes we have are this trim and relative, which they can be used with either latch or touch mode, these two. And what trim does is it provides a quick way of applying proportional adjustments to your parameters with the automation. And relative, it allows you to record relative changes independent of any absolute automation values. So those are some tools that you can use to just change how the touch and latch work, how it's reading it, and how you're writing it in. But that's about it for this lesson. Those are the basic automation modes, how to view automation, clicking the A key or this button up here. We'll go more in depth in the next lesson when it comes to writing in automation and really going in depth with it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, my name is William. Thank you for watching.